Oh, I didn't pick this match for this reason, but Spare is playing a kind of an interesting deck here. Not gonna say what it is. I mean, so far we've seen Thunder Dragon and Reload. And it looks like he's reloading for, I don't know, 6 or something. And I believe the opponent, you know, you can see here also playing kind of an interesting deck. You have Graceful Charity and D-Mock. So yeah, looks like we've already got a few viewers in the stream. You know, if you're just casually watching, not in the tournament yourself, or if you are in the tournament yourself, you know, let us know who you think's gonna win. You know, 20 people could be anyone. One of our top performers in our last 2 tournaments, Spank the Monkey, did not enter. So, you know, he's not gonna win again. So it looks like, Spare, we've got a reload and a couple of set back rows. And, the opponent here is, yeah, DTM Eclipsis Allan. That's his name on our Discord server. He's not really doing a whole lot here. Alright, so Spare is discarding Thunder Dragon number 2 after, you know, reloading the 2 Thunder Dragons back. So what is that? Is that the 3rd reload? Yeah, that's the 3rd reload. Alright, so I guess, Spare is just gonna self-destruct button and go on to the next game. So, you know, I will say, I told the participants of 20 people this tournament probably won't last too long, but if Spare is over here drawing every match... Yeah, I think they're confused here. Let me PM this guy to let him know. Yeah, I mean, you know, really it doesn't matter what they choose as far as the RPS, as long as they just, you know, communicate properly about who they want to go first. But yeah, that's just kind of one of those sort of weird, quirky rules in regards to GOAT format. I mean, it does make the strategy with, like, self-destruct button a little more interesting, because, like, if you went first, then it's better to draw than, like, if you went second, then maybe you, like, don't want to draw. This guy's asking me what his opponent's deck does. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I think these sort of library self-destruct button decks are, like, not even very good. Probably should have picked another match to commentate, to be honest, because we're just kind of sitting here waiting for Spare to, you know, perhaps end his turn. Alright, so we see a Sacred Crane here from Allan, so, you know, looks like maybe some sort of Reasoning Gate deck from him. Alright, and I guess Spare's gonna True Nade here. Get that library going. Huh, that's interesting. So, I mean, their Spare could have drawn a card from the top of the deck or the bottom, and he took the wall. Alright, I guess Spare's just gonna self-destruct button again. I'm sorry, viewers. Do you all hate me? I swear, I decided to watch this match without even realizing what the matchup was. I didn't do this to torture you. I really didn't. I seriously did not. You'll have to believe me. You're just gonna have to, yeah, you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Looks like our first match just finished. Looks like Jamie beat Billy. Alright, I was actually distracted, trying to help people in the tournament. But it looks like in the time that I looked away, there was a third draw. So, like, I know what deck Sphere's playing. I mean, as you can see, the deck has Royal Magical Library and Self-Destruct button. Right? I mean, I can't say it is because the opponent might be watching the stream, but it does have a way to win a match. And keep in mind, there's no time limit in this tournament either. So this isn't like a, draw 1,000 games and then win with burn in time, right? That's not how this deck works, right? Because there's no time limit. I just picked a random match. I didn't specifically. I'm sorry, guys. Basically, what happened was the tournament started, right? I went to GOAT format and then went to the watch button, and then Spare versus Allan was like the first listed one. So I was like, oh, Spare's a pretty good player. We'll go watch him. And then I just see this shit, and I'm like, God damn it, I should have picked a different match to watch. That's just how it goes, guys. Sorry about that. But hopefully we don't have, 10 draws in a row or whatever. I don't know what this guy's. This guy's, like, mad at me. Because, like, this guy's playing a self-destruct, but somehow that's my fault, apparently. I'm just gonna close this. But yeah, it looks like we got a few more matches reported. So far, Insids beat Chicago, Nick beat Tyler, and Jamie beat Billy. We've got 3 matches reported. So yeah, Spare might lose this one. See, this is why... Believe it or not, I actually just don't think Spare's deck is very good. I think he's going to go like 0-2 or 1-2. That's what I hope, for 2 reasons. 1, I don't want to have to stream this. 2, I don't want him to hold up the entire tournament. 3, I just think this deck's bad. So, we're just going to hope that he goes 0-2. Oh, and at least Allan was nice enough to remind him about the library counters. That's actually... I didn't notice myself. I was too busy doing commentary to remind and put counters on the library. Alright, so the library is definitely going to be dead this turn. The Jinzo is actually pretty huge, because this now means that Spare can't self-destruct button, right, as long as there's a Jinzo in play. So... I'm pretty sure Allan has just got this game. Like, if he's got a Monster Gate for the library... See, the problem here is, like, brain-controlled library is not very good unless you have, like, Monster Gate or Meta. Because you have to give that library back, that could potentially cause you to lose the game. But, I mean, Allan might just win. Obviously, right now he's got 5,200 points of damage in play. So, I mean, he just needs 28 more. I mean, another 28 Fuseler would be enough. Yeah, we'll see if not killing this library comes back to bite him. You know, I think it would have been better if, you know, Allan had just attacked over the library. then you know the library's gone. You know it's not going to draw your opponent a bunch of cards. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, yeah, like, the Brain Control drew him a card, but paying 800 life points to draw a card and not kill your opponent's library, not a very good deal, in my opinion. So there's a Thunder Dragon. My sandbox, it's double limb, so, like, there is no next round. It's just, you know, you just play the matches as they come up, right? So, you know, I'll post the bracket in chat so you can, you know, see what the bracket is. So, you know, some people are playing right now, some people waiting on other people to finish. You know, that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah, I tell you, just based on the questions I'm getting in, like, in tournaments, seems like people don't really understand how a double limb tournament works. And little shippy that could, I mean, Pot of Greed and Delinquent Duo actually aren't, like, that unfair, and using them correctly is part of what makes the format interesting. It's, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, you can't just take my word for it. If you play the format, I think you'll find it's a pretty kind of interesting format. Obviously, this matchup is not representative of how GOAT format typically goes, but, you know. Interesting take there, Lil Shippy. Alright, so Spare has to make something happen this turn. I do not know what Pope Bum and Nick's names are on DB. You would have to PM them and ask. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, Spare's taking way too long. I'm going to give him a slow play warning. Yeah, so I mean, to the guy who asked in the chat is, you know, we see there is a black pendant in play here. Alright, so we have a game that did not end in a draw, and it is a loss for Spare. You know, I hate to be the biased commentator, but I think we're all rooting against Spare for this match. You know, hate to be that guy, but, you know, I'm just saying what we're all thinking. So, Spare... I mean, so far we've seen a Convulsion in Nature from Spare, but we have not seen an Archfiend's Oath. And, like, believe it or not, I mean, I know people act like library FT, or, like, library decks are complicated, but, like, they're really not. Spare's taking, like, way too long to play, like, his combo out. Hey, I mean, you know, I don't know if his opponent's watching the stream, so, you know, I'm not gonna say what cards are in Spare's deck, you know? Yeah, I mean, we would generally assume that a deck with Convulsion in Nature is probably playing Archfiend's Oath. As far as for the players in the tournament, you know, if you've been paired with your opponent, you have 20 minutes before you're given a match loss. So if, you know, you need to take a break and you know it's going to take less than 20 minutes, then you're good. Alright, so there's a Convulsion of Nature from Spare. And there is an Archfiend's Oath, so, you know, cat's out of the bag. Yeah, I mean, you know, personally, my version of this deck is, like, a lot different in terms of strategy. I usually sort of play, like, the deck where it's like, hey, I FTK, like, half the time, and then the other half I try to win, like, on turn 2 or turn 3. Whereas, like, Spare is playing the build that, like, either tries to win or draw every game on turn 1. He basically doesn't have, like, a turn 2 and a turn 3. I mean, at least that's usually how it goes. Yeah, I mean, note that both players, in this case, do know, you know, the entire contents of the other person's hand due to Convulsion in Nature. But yeah, I mean... Alright, so I guess they're going to the next game. Yeah, I mean, Nico King doesn't really do anything against these library decks because they don't have any way to trigger it other than card destruction. So yeah, Spare gets to go first here again. You know, last game he had, you know, the turn 1 draw. You know, I don't like this strategy because to me it seems like way too hard to actually pull out a win. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I picked a random match, and this is what we got stuck with, right? I mean, GOAT format duels are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You know, that's just how it is. Well, I mean, in this case, it looks like Spare opened up with double Toon Table. See, what I do is I play 2 Toon World in my list, so that way even if you open up with double Toon Table, they're both live. But some people don't like that. I mean, I love Toon World in this deck. If anything, like, there's almost, you could almost argue for playing 3, because it's a continuous spell, which is what the deck wants. It pays 1,000 life, which is what the deck wants. And it's also, you know, a target for Toon World, which is what the deck wants. So it does 3 things that are good for the deck, and yet some people only play 1 Toon World, which I think is a mistake. To be honest, like, just watching this match makes me want to just enter a GOAT format tournament with, like, a good library deck list. Just to, you know, show people how it's done. But, you know. Oh, and I like the reference there, little shippy, the cause the loop or whatever, where you keep doing the same thing over and over again. I see what you're saying. Yeah, Ash Blossom would be stupid in Go format. It would, like, yeah, no. Cause, like, believe it or not, like, most of, like, the combo decks in GOAT format are, like, not that great. Like, Library FTK is probably the best one, but, like, most people don't even play, like, a good version of it, so you don't really have to be worried. Like, Empty Draw, in my opinion, is pretty easy to beat. I think Reasoning Gate is, like, pretty easy to beat as long as you sort of acknowledge that the deck exists, don't sort of blow it off, and, you know, come prepared. I mean, it's kind of the same way it is in, like, with, like, combo decks and, like, Legacy Magic. It's like, they're pretty good if you're not prepared for them, but if you are prepared for them, they're not so good. Alright, well, I think Spare might actually be able to close out a win this time, just because he has, like, Double Oath and Trunade. Yeah, I mean, I would hope with, like, 10 cards in hand, you know, including the Double Oath, that would be good enough. Alright, and there's another Trunade. Yeah, I think it's almost impossible for Spare to lose this one. So yeah, we're just going through the motions here. I think a couple of players have 2 round wins now. Nick is 2-0. Who else is 2-0? Yeah, I think those... Yeah, I think Nick is the only person who's 2-0. Well, the reason why we're all here is because I stick to my guns. That's why. I picked a random match to watch. This is what we got, folks. This is what we got. We can all get through this together. Yeah, kind of one of the cool things about this deck is even if you don't have like Convulsion in Nature, Archfiend's Oath combos with Feather of the Phoenix. Oh, okay, so there's like one person in this tournament playing a stupid deck. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how it goes, right? I mean, I actually kind of hope here that Spare, you know, finds a way to like mess up this turn, and I don't know, just like loses somehow. I mean, I don't know how much experience he has with the deck, you know what I'm saying? So, for me, it's like, I know I could win from this position, but if it's like the first time he's played the deck, he might find a way to screw it up. Have faith, everyone, have faith. The other guy has not taken a turn yet. So let's see, how many True Nades does Spare use? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Spare's just never played this deck before. He didn't even know how to, like, flip your deck for Convulsion. See, like, I hate to say it, but, like, believe it or not, this isn't that bad, like, normally. But the problem is, Spare has, like, never played this deck before. So he has, like, absolutely no idea what he's doing. Is taking forever. Is drawing games that he probably should be winning. So he's basically just holding... he's basically just holding us all hostage. You know, I've always hated the term suicide bomber deck, but this deck really is like terrorism. Like, no offense to any terrorists out there, I guess. But this deck is basically like terrorism. Alright, well, hate to say it, but I think Spare has got this one locked up. It would be pretty hard to screw up at this point. Alright, well... I need to tell Spare to make sure he resolves this correctly. Okay, he actually didn't have to admit defeat there. Because what happens is the deck flips over and the other card might not be a spell. I mean, obviously, like, Allan's allowed to concede at any time, but technically that wasn't guaranteed game there. Because if the bottom card of Spare's deck was, like, a self-destruct button or something, just some random trap, then Spare actually loses. Which is one of the reasons why, like, this version of the deck that plays trap cards isn't very good. Because, like, you basically have to get down to one card left in deck to guarantee that your quiz will resolve correctly. But yeah, Allan gets to go first. We're going to see how this reasoning goes. Solemn Judgment's interesting, because that stops a self-destruct button. Like, you just Solemn any random card, then... you know, your life points are too low for them to use self-destruct button. To be honest, turn 1 Jinzo isn't that bad either, just because, you know, Spare can't use traps. And I don't... yeah, I mean... so yeah, let's see what else Allan's got. Alright, Jinzo is set to pass. I mean, well, let's see how this goes. A pretty strong start for Spare. No library yet, though, it looks like. I mean, that's going to be a pretty big deciding factor, because, you know, you're not going to be able to draw a self-destruct button as long as there's, like, a Jinzo on the field. And, so yeah, you're gonna need that library. Alright, so Spare's just gonna reload. So you know, this is, I mean, it's gonna be close one. I mean, because, you know, I don't know, like, what Spare does, you know, post-side, if anything, like, whether he, like, does some sort of weird side when he's going second. You know, I don't know. I haven't looked at the exact deck list. Well, he's got a library now, so it's looks like it's off to the races. Oh, and does Spare have the double tune table again? Well, SRN, it's already won a game, so, I mean, yes, it has a way to win. The win condition is Black Pendant Reversal Quiz, which is what he did last game. Okay, so he's going to do Toon Table Chain Reload. That way, you know, if the reload doesn't draw into the Toon World, hopefully it resolves. So it's kind of a clever trick. But yeah, I mean, Spare's under a lot of pressure this turn. You know, if he doesn't really make something happen, I feel like, you know, it's too likely that he just dies to a bunch of monsters next turn. Yeah, that's correct, SRN. We have that rule posted on our website, so most people know that by now. And in fact, that is like a key aspect of playing this deck. You sometimes, like with Convulsion of Nature, if you don't like your top card, you might just discard a Thunder Dragon for no reason just to get the free shuffle. But it looks like Spare's about to, yeah, Spare's about to get an Archfiend's Oath here. And Spare's gonna draw the card that's not the Archfiend's Oath, since the deck was flipped over. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think Spare's ever played this deck before. I've actually noticed him make a lot of mistakes during his sequencing. He made a sequencing error last game too, but, you know, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to, like, coach him, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, moral of the story here is, like, don't play this deck in tournament unless you have, like, some experience, because you'll take a lot longer if it's your first time, for one thing, and you'll, like, you know, mess up the order of some of this stuff. But I think Spare's got some pretty good spells engraved for the spell reproduction. But yeah, I mean, out of the 5 cards in Spare's hand, we know 2 of them are Thunder Dragons. This Wall of Revealing Light isn't going to do anything while there's a Jinzo on the field. Okay, so I guess Spare's just going to activate Level Limit and try to stall the game out. Which, I mean, is a good strategy with this deck. I mean, some people don't play Level Limit in Library FTK, but I like to play it because you can't always win on turn 1, and it switches Library to Defense, which is also pretty nice. And it can help with your combo turns too, just by being a continuous spell. Yeah, Mascus, I think you just got here. But Spare is playing the wall deck. And, you know, also, Mascus, you're welcome to hop in on commentary with me if you want. You know, on Discord or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't like the wall self-destruct button decks. I mean, obviously, one of the downsides is what we're seeing here, which is that it makes Jinzo a very good card against you, whereas normally, I mean, maybe not normally, but the other way of playing the deck plays no traps, making Jinzo... Why is it not letting me type? What's going on here? Dueling Book is not letting me type. That is the weirdest glitch I've ever seen. Just straight up no typing allowed. Oh, maybe... Yeah, maybe my keyboard got unplugged. Well, I unplugged my keyboard, plugged it back in, and it's still not letting me type anywhere. Did my keyboard just decide to, like, die? Maybe the USB port that it's attached to went bad. Alright, well, NB96, if you're watching the stream, you do get to decide if Game 1 was a draw. But, I mean, this is why you should contact MMF. I'm not the judge of the tournament. MF, if you're watching the stream, yes, they get to decide if there was a draw. God damn it. Like, people asking me questions and I can't type. Alright, yeah, I guess that USB port went bad. Once I plugged it into a different one, we were good. Alright, what did I miss? Well, it looks like Spare's library is dead. This level limit still is in play. I guess, like, it got true-nated. The level limit got true-nated or something. I mean, what's also interesting here is... You know, again, I don't know, like, what happened, how we got to this game state, but right now Spare just can't play any spells or chops, right? You know, until one of these spells or chops goes away. Right? Because, you know, all 5 zones are taken. There's light and a dark in the grave. So yeah, I don't like Spare's odds here. Alright, so he's doing the old discard Thunder Dragon to get the shuffle. I mean, this deck... But again, this deck is actually not very good. Because, like... It's just like, this particular build of the library deck is just really inconsistent. And there's just, like, way too many ways for the deck to, like, run into problems. I mean, I'm mainly just curious why, like, Allan hasn't done anything yet. Like, does Allan really just have, like, a shit ton of nothing? Like, ironically enough, like, I actually think Reason and Gate combo is, like, the more degenerate deck than Library. Even though, like, in the heads up, Library is probably favored. Like, if it's a good Library deck. Like, the Reasoning Gate deck is like, if you build it well, it's like pretty, it's not very fragile, that's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so maybe we're gonna get something going here. Oh yeah, Dimension Fusion's pretty strong. So is there like a Heavy Storm in the grave? No Heavy, but there is like Trunade. Yeah, and then he resolved his Demock and Crane incorrectly, so I'm gonna give him a warning. Alright, so... yeah, it looks like Allan pulled it out.